The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this show are not necessarily those of Stewart Information Services Corporation, Stewart Title, or Stewart Insurance. Before you make any investment, you should seek the advice of your investment advisor or attorney.
Whether you're a real estate broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, everything matters when it comes to real estate. This is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Stewart Title's Bill Knapik and guests open the door to what really matters in owning, buying, and selling real estate. And now, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance. Here to inform, entertain, and inspire, Bill Knapik.
Welcome to the show. It is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Thank you for joining us. I am your host, Bill Knapik. Here we are with another fantastic show. It's also known as show number 531. Right here, 531 weekends, bringing forth information, entertainment, and even inspiration. So let's get down to business as we welcome our first guest. She is in the mortgage world. Her name is Megan Davis. The company is D4 Mortgage. Megan, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Well, here you are. Money is such a wonderful topic, especially in the world of real estate. So let's tell people about your company.
D4 Mortgage. I'm an independent broker, which means that I have the luxury of being able to shop my customers over 200 lenders. There is not a product I don't have, and I will find the best rates no matter what.
Covering so many bases.
Right.
Well, let's give people an idea. Right now, there are people that are in the process of thinking about buying a home, getting a mortgage, applying for a mortgage, and there's also first-time buyers. So first of all, those that are not the first-time buyers, give them an idea what they need to do, Megan, to prepare for the journey of getting the loan secure and pre-approved and all those things.
Just doing a checkup on your finances. If you currently own your home, getting with a realtor and seeing what equity you have so that you can move it over to the next house. And then, of course, getting with a loan officer and checking the market rates and all that and making sure it's a right time to buy. It's not a right time to buy for everyone, but right now it's getting really good.
Well, we hear lately, at least in the last week or so, I'm hearing about rates. Let's tell people what's going on with rates at this point in time.
So we finally got a break in rates, and they've been going down significantly, and we're starting to see more in the 5s and low 6s for well-qualified buyers. We're officially getting out of the 7s. I hope to never see that number again, and it's just looking really positive.
Well, when you say the 5s, it kind of sounds refreshing based on what we've been hearing these last, I don't even know how long, a year plus.
I'm not embarrassed to quote anymore. Like, I will send that to you ASAP.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So the 7s, maybe not so much, but
no,
now that we're in...
that was painful, but we made it through. So, and even if you had to buy in the last 2 years, that's okay. We can refi you now and get you in a much better position.
Well, hopefully the 5s will stay around, and for those listening that aren't tuned in, well, now they know.
Right, and we'll never see those bottom rates again, 2 to 3%. We won't see it in our lifetime. So I think we're going to, which nobody fully knows, but I think we're going to go down to like maybe the low 5s, and we're going to sit there for a while, but that's going to be a great rate, and that's going to enter a ton of new buyers into the market.
I think so. And I think, are you seeing, now that we're hitting the 5 zone, we'll call it, are you seeing more activity as a result of this already?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
This is the busiest we've been in 2 years. And now all our old pre-approvals, we're like, let's take a look at it again, because now you have so much more buying power. Houses cost more. So the median price in Montgomery County will be $350,000. That did not used to be a starter home, but now it is. So these rates dropping will help significantly get all these first-time home buyers into the market again.
So it sounds like you're even busier, you and the team at D4 Mortgage, right?
Right.
So when should we reach out to you if we're thinking about, again, either a first-time buyer or someone else that just says, hey, it's time to get pre-approved? When should we begin that process with you?
It depends on the person, really. I have people in my pipeline that are big planners. They want to plan out the next year, how their taxes are going to look, how their money is going to look, and especially if you're self-employed or something a little bit more complex. But normally, I'll get a first-time home buyer, and we'll be 3 months out, just looking and getting everything ready. But we can also go as fast as 2 weeks. So even though the rates have dropped significantly, we're not at that huge volume yet, so we can still pump them out pretty quick if we need to.
Well, that sounds pretty good, because I would think there have been people that didn't need to buy a home at a specific time, and they were just waiting around. Maybe they were investing, or they wanted to make a change, but they waited. So we'll call that pent-up demand, and that's now being unleashed?
Sure. And I think right now is the best time, although rates are dropping. Instead of waiting, wait. And if you wait any more, you could possibly wait until the values go up. When rates go down, values go up, and it's always going to be that way. So I think we're right now in that sweet spot.
I had a feeling I was reading your mind. I thought you were going to use that very term, sweet spot.
Yes.
We are there now. Let the word go forth from these microphones.
Absolutely. Let everybody know. Now is the time. You heard it here first.
That's right. Megan Davis with D4 Mortgage is saying that right now. So, well, let's get right to the phone number. What's your phone number, Megan, in case they want to call you right now? They can jot it down.
281-639-2988, 281-639-2988, and that is my personal phone number, so you can call me directly with any questions.
Well, give people an idea, Megan. What do you love so much about your role at D4 Mortgage?
For sure, it's when people come to me and they think, well, I'm not ready to buy. I know I won't be qualified, and 90% of the time they are. And I'll show them, look, this is how much money you're going to save being a homeowner versus renting. Renting is crazy right now. You're paying someone's mortgage. It's whether it's your own or your landlord. So might as well be a property owner and gain that equity every month.
Yeah, I think it's good that you say most people may think they have a not as good a credit standing, but in reality, you're saying when you get into the nuts and bolts and the information, you're saying actually more people are better off than they thought.
Right. You don't have to have 20% down. You don't have to have 800 credit score. There's a program for everyone. And now in this age where the market wasn't so great, a lot of these really interesting programs came out with down payment assistance that you don't even have to pay back. When the market stabilizes and gets a lot better, they're going to pull those programs out. So you might as well get that free government money while you still can.
And speaking of 20% down, how often do you see someone put 20% down out of, say, the last 10 loans?
I would say just maybe
never
3. Yeah, not very often. Or someone will say, I want to do 20% down. I'm going to say, let's look at the numbers. Is your money better spent sitting in an account gaining interest or putting money into your home? If you're not meant to stay there for the rest of your life, there's really no reason to. And MI is not that expensive. People try to I need to avoid it. Sure, it's a cost.
And what you're saying, that's mortgage insurance.
For those,
okay.
And it's based off of the area you're in, so it will fluctuate, but it's based off the foreclosures in your area, the values in your area, not so much you as a person. But it's always something that you can refi out later when you drop below that amount of equity. But I always try to talk people, and you don't need that huge down payment. There's really no reason for it.
Well, I think it's important to work with someone with the experience that you have, and also because there are so many nuances and details as money and all these things are kind of dynamic and change as payments are made and so forth. So it's good to be able to talk with someone. I would imagine that's one of the distinctions of your company in working with Megan Davis.
I started in not such a great time. In 2010, 2008 is when the mortgage crashed, and we were seeing double-digit interest rates, and we're seeing foreclosures. A lot of people didn't have jobs. So I navigated through that time, and this time is very different than that time, but I have become resilient to where I can make it through any market. And so I know this is a big deal to a lot of people, and it's crucial to be with a lender that can tell you the best options. And I will sometimes tell people right now is not a good time. Maybe next year. I'm not afraid to tell people to wait.
Regarding, let's say, first-time home buyers, when should they reach out to you, as their process may take a little bit longer? Is that correct?
It could. It depends on their situation. If they think they have credit issues or there's something funky with their tax returns, it's never too early to reach out and get a game plan started.
And when you run into credit issues, whether it's an individual or, say, a couple, are there any common issues that are recurring themes?
Probably buying a new car and having that huge payment. Try not to do that. I know we all
Large
want it.
car payments are not good.
Car payments normally are now over $1,000. I'm seeing that often because of interest rates. But I hear that they're going down too. So maybe that'll start to fluctuate a little bit and rates will just get better across the board. But I've had a few borrowers here recently that apply with me and they get a new car right then. I'm like, just wait. Just wait till later.
Well, that's a good thing that we do hear that people will apply for mortgage and then they buy a large purchase. So let's let that word go forth and say, when you apply for the mortgage, don't buy anything. Yeah.
Don't buy anything.
Period. Until you're in the home if you have to.
Yeah. You're on a ramen diet for at least 30 days, and then you can go back.
And we can tell them where to get the ramen noodles as a bonus, right?
Sure. I'll bring some to closing.
There you go. Ramen noodles at closing.
There's a lot of guidelines that have changed, and they've made things a lot easier, especially for first-time home buyers. There's down payment assistance that is not income-based, so almost everyone can qualify for it. And then my specialty specifically is non-QM, which is non-qualified mortgage. It helps out the self-employed. I hate to hear mortgage professionals recommend to their buyer, let's pay more to the government on your tax return so we can get you in a conventional loan. I'm trying to not do that. I have these programs that I can take your full income, and it's a little bit higher interest rate, but non-QM has gotten so much better in the last year. It's competitive with conventional rates. There's no reason for a self-employed not to own their own home. And
being in your role, you have the unique perspective to know people's financial situations. So you see, and everyone's situation is different. I'm sure you see people that are just stellar, everything's perfect, like you're saying, the planner, that everything is done properly, having extra money or whatever else, high incomes and things like that. But if you were to give advice, say, to a teenager, knowing what you know now, to avoid financial things, what would you tell a teenage?
Just try not to buy into you need a credit card every time you go buy something. And also buy real estate as soon as possible. I just did a loan for two 20-year-olds, and I think that's amazing. I wish I had my ducks in a row back then. But I coupled with down payment assistance, they brought nothing to closing. They didn't have a payment for 30 days. It actually saved them a lot of money. I think buy real estate as soon as you can. That's the number one thing. That's the best idea.
And I would also say don't spend more than you make.
Sure. It's hard in this market. I understand.
World, no doubt.
No, I think people are afraid to apply because they don't want a deep dive into their finances. But trust me, I understand. I think that if you had bought in the last 2 years, you need to get with me because I think I can get you in a much better situation. So refinancing is now alive and well? Yes, absolutely. And let's tell people how they can reach you, Megan Davis. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I have a website, d4mortgage.com, or you can just give me a call. The number is? 281-639-2988. Oh, 281-639-2988. Thank you so much, Megan Davis. As we continue, let's go up on the roof with Mark McGuire. He is the owner of AO1 Roofing. Hey, Mark, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Well, Mark, roofs are kind of important. Certainly in the world of when we get our home insured, we buy a home or have our home, the first thing the insurance company says is, how old's the roof? But first of all, let's tell people about AO1 Roofing.
Awesome. Yeah, we started AO1 Roofing back in 2019. AO1 stands for Audience of One. My favorite question is when people ask me what that means.
Audience of One.
I kind of chuckle a little bit, but then I explain that it just means we're going to do things the right way. We do have someone watching over us all the time, whether we like it or not. And, we're going to do things in integrity.
No doubt about it. Well, also, one of the things people are thinking about in roofing here in Houston, Texas, the fourth largest city, geographically speaking, what is the area that you serve with your company? Because it's a big place.
So roofing's a little different than a lot of industries. We kind of have to go all over the place. We work as far as Huntsville up north, Waller out west, northwest, all the way down to Richmond, Rosenberg, obviously southeast side, which is where our corporate office is. Clear Lake, Galveston County, do a bunch of work in Galveston, actually on the island. Believe it or not, they only have a couple of roofers down there, so we seem to land down there quite a bit. As far northeast as Cleveland, Livingston, we go out there as well.
So if you happen to be listening in Providence, Rhode Island, he just covered 5 states, just saying.
Yes, that's right.
So in the meantime, I would ask the question, how is the roofing business? What's the demand like right now? Here we've had storms, we've had rain, we've had winds. How busy are you?
The demand for roofing right now is greater than it was in Harvey. We've had a multitude of storms this year. We've had some severe tornadoes rip through from the northwest side all the way down through downtown. If you remember, because we've had Beryl overshadow those storms, we had a tornado rip the windows out of downtown buildings. So, they're still recovering from that. And then we throw Beryl on top of it, which Beryl was a lot greater than was anticipated. Beryl caught people by surprise. This town can manage through a tropical storm with no problem. Beryl really messed some things up infrastructure-wise. Obviously, with Center Point, that was a big issue. But it tore up some really good roofs, and it was kind of surprising to all of us in the industry.
So one of the things I thought about, I remember early in the morning, 3:30, as Beryl came through and the winds were whipping around, I was looking out the window, looking at trees moving at my house, and I'm thinking, wow, what if some shingles blow off and those sorts of things? So I would think the next day you were getting a lot of phone calls where people are concerned about water coming into the home.
Yeah, I mean, we don't, we're not a larger company. We've only been around since 2019, but we've taken in over 1,000 calls since Hurricane Beryl, which I think for a company our size, it's been a little bit overwhelming. There has been damage to roofs that just weren't expected to have damage, and it's just caused we're still running 15 to 20 calls every day, so that's a lot for us.
So I would think, and correct me if I'm wrong, there may be yet another category, but you are putting on new roofs for people.
We're doing all of the above. A lot of repairs. Yes, we're doing quite a few new roofs, more repairs than new roofs. The way the insurance business is right now, repairing roofs is something that you better be pretty decent at, because there are some people whose roofs are not going to be covered by insurance, and you need to make sure you help them mitigate any further damage on their home, which is a repair.
I would also think if there are probably homes you go to where you go for a repair to fix something from a storm or even just wear and tear, or who knows, even some kind of animal getting on the roof or something like that. But you get on the roof and say, hey, by the way, you're in the market for a new roof, or you better start thinking about a new roof. So you see opportunities to help people and let them know that, hey, start thinking about it.
Well, the old creed about roofers is we say every roof needs to be replaced.
I didn't know that.
Yes, that's our fame, our claim to fame in the trades world. So we try not to be that roofer. We try to be honest with people, build a relationship, a long-lasting relationship. If you go to someone's home and they need a repair and you say, hey, 5 or 6 years, you're going to need to look at getting a new roof, you build tremendous value there. The customer's going to remember that. They're going to remember you came out there and gave them an honest assessment of their roof. And when it is time to get their roof, they're going to call you.
And one of the things we think about, I know when last time I bought a roof, maybe 2015 or so, when you sit with the roofing person and they say, okay, well, we have this shingle. What are the shingle lives that you offer right now?
Yeah.
Is it a 30 years? That's the top one?
The premium shingles right now, they call them lifetime roofs.
Oh, really?
They are giving limited warranty, lifetime warranties on the shingles from the manufacturer. The reason they're doing this is they've had, just like your cell phone, there's an advancements in roofing also. The nail line has come a long way. The amount of nails you need per shingle has changed. They're the good shingles have a 160 mile an hour wind rating now. They even have some shingles who have an unlimited wind rated shingle. They also have level 3 impact resistance, level 4 impact resistance. Those means basically hail resistant, right? That's what that means. That actually gets you 8 to 12% discount on your homeowner's insurance if you were to get one of those shingles. So,
and what's that called?
It's called a level 3 or level 4 impact resistant shingle, and it's basically, they can't say the words, but it's hail resistant. It has they're putting a rubber inside the shingles now, inside the fiberglass. That's causing, if a hail hit was to hit it, it's not as severe as opposed to an older shingle.
And from an average price, let's say a new roof would cost, what's the average price of a new roof? Again, average
depending on the size of the house. Yeah,
25,
$11 to $14K.
All right, so let's say $14,000 puts a new roof on a 2,500 square foot house, maybe. And if they want this better hail resistant shingle, how much more is that?
$1,000.
So it's only $1,000. Well, I'll get that all day long.
No, there is. It's a good investment. And if I can help someone mitigate some of their monthly expenses, and also protect their home, I will definitely recommend that to them. Again, I'm giving roofing contracting advice. You have to call your insurance agent to find out all these details, right? But I have got this information from some very respected insurance agents.
So how often, let's say in the last 10 new roofs that you put on, did someone go for the better shingle?
100%.
I would think that's the way to go.
100%. It's a very easy, and I don't even want to say the word sell. It's just information that we're providing to the consumer. It's a very easy one to go with. And
then once you have a new, let's take the regular shingle, a 30-year shingle, we'll call it. They still have those? The question is, how long do they really last?
So when I hear, hey, I want a 30-year shingle, I know someone hasn't replaced a shingle in 20 years. That's just not the industry name. Now they're high wind rating class 3 shingles. That's the architecture. That's the high-end architectural shingle now.
Because to me, here in Houston, Texas, and I'm sure there's other places that have harsh conditions, but the sun that beats down on the shingle, the potential for hail. I mean, a shingle has to really do a lot of work up there on the roof, I think, in Houston. So, man, if they could go 10, 20, 30 or more years, that's amazing.
There's a reason almost every major carrier of insurance is pulling out of Houston for homeowners insurance. It's because we have hail, tornadoes, wind, hurricanes, humidity. Don't discount the chemical plants. A roof in Deer Park, Texas looks a lot worse than a roof in Friendswood, Texas.
Well, there are air quality issues here.
There is.
That said, in the meantime, so the future of roofing, people out there, as they think about their roof, yes, they'll call you for a repair. But sometimes, and I know myself, I have a 2-story home, and I can't really see what's going on top of the roof. Now, I'm more conscious if a storm comes through. I'm concerned about it. But how often should someone get their roof inspected just as normal maintenance?
There's no reason you shouldn't get your roof checked at least every 3 years. Every roofer in Houston, Texas is offering free inspections. Let them inspect it. It usually doesn't cost you anything unless they find some stuff, which, to mitigate that versus having a major repair inside, I mean, it's worth $300 or $400-$500, right?
So get a roof inspection. Otherwise, is there anything that someone can do other than an inspection to maintain their roof on their own?
There really is not. Just an inspection and a general maintenance every few years is really, anywhere there's a penetration or a roof jack or around a chimney, you just need to get that inspected and maintenance regularly.
Because as I'm thinking about the wear and tear and the work that a shingle does, there's also sealing and things like that on all the
ventilation
things.
Is a big part.
Yeah.
If you have an abnormally hot attic, which is kind of a silly thing to say in Houston, Texas, because I think we all do.
Yeah.
But they make solar attic fans now that just fit. You cut a hole and put it in where your main area of your attic is, and they are a tremendous help with the efficiency of your home.
We're talking with Mark McGuire with AO1 Roofing. Mark, before we close the segment, what else do you want people to know?
This is important with the regards to where the roofing business is and the changes in the industry. It used to be we would go out and we would just always put insurance claims in on roofs. And I'm not trying to say that was right or wrong, but the insurance companies are building the matrix now for insured that you're going to want to pay a lot more out of pocket for roofs than get them paid by insurance. For example, your deductibles used to be $1,500, $2,000. Now they're $5,000 to $12,000 on average. Really, we're seeing them on average creep up to $7,000 and $8,000. A lot of roofs are just a few thousand more than that, right? And so why would you want to go risk putting an insurance claim in versus just paying retail for that? So what I always recommend to people is put a couple of dollars back if you're going to have a high deductible, right? Be ready for that.
Good point.
Because the reality is that you're not going to have to replace a roof but every 10 to 15 years minimum. At the earliest. Just put your money back for that. Be prepared for that. We used to walk up to homes and ask the customer, the first question was, well, who is your insurance carrier? It's not that anymore. First question we ask people is, how much is your deductible? Because we can save everybody a lot of time and heartache and just say, hey, your deductible is $8,000, your roof's going to be $9,500. Do you really want to mess with your insurance company?
Mark, let's tell people how they can reach you.
713-715-ROOF, 713-715-7663. That is the main line to our company. You can always email us at mark@AO1Roofing also. 713-715-ROOF.
Thank you so much, Mark McGuire. All right, it's time to talk to a real-life real estate professional, a realtor. His name is Juan Granados. The company is CC and Juan Group. Juan, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure. I've heard so much about you, and I did hear your show the other day.
Well, Juan, let's tell people your group, CC and Juan Group, we call it. So let's tell people about what you do in the real estate world and kind of the area that you're serving in Houston.
Well, we are, as you mentioned earlier, we are realtors, and we help people get their dream home. We're not salespeople. Well, we are called matchmakers. Why do we call ourselves matchmakers? Because we want to make sure that we get you into the place that you like, because buying a house is a long-term investment. It's not like buying a car that you'll have it for 4 or 5 years. So we want to make sure that, for people with kids, that the schools are right. So the commute, even though here in Houston, we travel 45 minutes, it's a short drive, but we want to make sure that all those things are taken into consideration, and also the pricing. That's also very important. We make sure that you get your right house at the right price.
No doubt about it. And at this point in time, one of the things we think about in terms of buying a home, I think in any area of Houston, is the inventory situation. What's the inventory like right now in terms of, generally speaking?
Well, we do have a problem with inventory. Right now it's about 2.5 to 3 months. Doing the research, we're able to find the people. And one of the things that we do is we have a free consultation in which we bring people into our office, and we learn about their needs and wants. So that way we know better what they're looking for. And that's when we start shopping around for them. And we'll present different options so they can pick and choose what they like.
And at this point in time, let's say take your last 10 or so transactions. Are you helping more buyers or more sellers?
Actually, I would say 60-40. But for the most part, I would say buyers, first-time buyers, and foreign investors. That's our main focus right now.
So right now, there's plenty of first-time buyers. It sounds like
there are. People they were always there. However, they were a bit hesitant because of the interest rate. People got used to that 3.5, and when you hear it, 6.75, 7.0, it's like, oh, the interest rates are so high. So there is an education process that we go through, and we always tell the people, date the interest but marry the house. What I'm trying to say is, buy now, and when the interest rate drops, then you can always refinance this. And lenders will love to do that.
Well, in terms also of geography, as far as, again, your last few transactions or so, what area of town are you focusing on, if any?
We do the Richmond, the Katy area, but we also go as far south as the Clear Lake. So we really don't have a set area, but our main expertise, it would be Katy, the southwest part of the county.
And as far as Richmond, I'm glad you brought Richmond up, because we haven't talked about Richmond for a while here on this show. And those listening on the internet, we're not talking about Richmond, Virginia. We're talking about Richmond, which is what, the southwest part of Houston, kind of right below Sugar Land, right?
That is correct.
So let's tell people, what's the market like in Richmond, which is about how far from, if someone was driving downtown?
I would take about 35 minutes.
All right, so not that far.
It's not that far, but it's not that crazy.
But how's the market there now, and what drives people to the Richmond area, by the way?
Richmond, it's very appealing to families. Got some nice homes. They're still moderately priced. And school district it's good. So for a young family and for a family like Richmond is a very appealing area. It's not that far, as compared to Clear Lake. If you work in the energy corridor, that area, so it's a bigger drive.
And I'm wondering, as far as Richmond goes, I know Sugar Land is pretty built up, but is there room right now in Richmond in terms of more land? Are we going to get more land if we go to Richmond or not?
Absolutely. There's a lot of construction going on right now in the Richmond area, off of 1464, off of Grand Parkway. All that area has been built, and they're really nice homes.
So new construction as well, huh?
Absolutely.
So in the meantime, as we're saying in Richmond, good school district, plenty of land, and also you're saying the new home builders are there right now.
Absolutely.
So inventory's okay.
Yes, and builders are offering some good help for first-time buyers.
So right now, that's a good point, Juan. We haven't heard about builders' incentives, but you're saying they are out there now?
Oh, yeah, they're up there. There's plenty of incentive right there. Everybody wants the new homeowners. So therefore, they're doing everything they can in order to bring them in.
You know what's nice about a new home? A lot of things. Energy efficient, but you get a new roof with it.
Absolutely,
That's
which is one of the most expensive thing in the house at this point.
That air conditioning systems, yeah, it is a big component of the house. So as far as the marketplace, as you see, here we are well past the middle of the year, Juan. As you look ahead, how do you see the market play out here for the rest of the year?
The market is going to get great. And the reason I'm saying is the interest rates are dropping. Therefore, there's going to be, more people. And it's actually... it's not going to be as crazy as, when we had the pandemic, when we had 20, 30 people lining up to see the house, but it's going to be there. It's going to be there. And the good thing is, spoke to a lender this morning and they said, hey, good news. They're coming down and it's going to be even more. So all of us in the industry are crossing our fingers.
And you mentioned a minute or so ago about investors. So your company's also helping investors. Tell
Absolutely.
us about that.
Absolutely. Well, that Houston had the America's Cup a few months ago. So the market for Airbnb is there. Investors want to put the money where they can actually get their return on investment real good and fast. So a lot of investors from Mexico, Central and South America, they're turning away from Florida. Typical house in Miami, you can't get any houses really at a good price, and you get a condo, which is, you're going to be spending well over $600,000. So here in Houston, we can get something better actually, because you actually have a house for about $450 on up. So it's a good market. Again, as I mentioned earlier, the Airbnb market and also renters. There's still people moving into Houston that are not ready to buy. So the return on investment is there for investors.
So here we are still. Investors have their eye on Houston, Texas, as do others that just want to have a nice house at a reasonable price, right?
That is correct. I mean, it's there. A lot of these people, they want the stability of having their money safe. And what's the best way to do it? Investing in real estate. They do have the real estate at their homeland, but it's more stable here than the U.S.
And let's give people an idea. There's so many social media platforms, and realtors you and the many realtors out there are all looking for ways to develop your business and market your companies. What are some of the things that you do or like in the social media world that really help your cause and your buyers and sellers?
Actually being there, having your face there and showing people about their new homes that are being built, homes that you go out there and show your clients, 2-3 bedrooms at a reasonable price. So people see that and they want to be part of it. Keep in mind that when you see people doing things, you want to be at the show as well. I call it a show, but I mean, as far as buying a home, there's a lot of people. Well, we have over 4 million people, and about, I think it's like 50% are still renting.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know the statistics, but there are a lot of people here in the fourth largest city. We're talking to Juan Granados with CC and Juan Group. Well, Juan, before we close this segment, what else do you want people to know?
Well, I want you to know that we are focused on you. You, as a prospective client, are our number one goal to make sure that you have the home of your dreams, and we're here to make a reality. A dream is only a dream unless you make it happen, and we are here to help it.
Take action with Juan. Juan, let's tell people how they can reach you.
They can reach me on my cell phone directly up until 10 p.m., not 10 a.m.
10 p.m.
10 p.m. I answer my phone. I do answer my phone, 832-312-1884. And you can make sure you will get an answer.
We'll get an answer. Juan answers his phone. The number again, Juan, is
832-312-1884.
Thank you, Juan Granados.
Thank you for having me.
In today's litigious society, it is imperative to have the proper insurance to offset the many risks facing your business, especially if you're a real estate broker. Your errors and omissions and cyber liability insurance can help limit the threat of these risks if you know what to look for. Not sure if your insurance addresses the risks facing your business? Contact Stewart Insurance to be confident your brokerage can withstand these risks. Stewart Insurance, 866-798-2827. StewartInsurance.com. That's StewartInsurance.com or call 866-798-2827.
Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title would not be possible without our partner Stewart Insurance, with a focus in real estate and a special focus on real estate brokers. Stewart Insurance creates insurance plans to address the risks facing our industry today. They invest a significant amount of time helping real estate broker owners offset and manage their risks. Here he is, John Bramlett with Stewart Insurance. John, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bill. Always a pleasure.
Here we are once again, one of our favorite times of the week, and it's insurance time once again. What have you brought for us today?
A story.
We love stories.
We have a story. Yes, it's about a Texas assisted living facility that got sued because they fired one of their employees that had a sleep disorder.
Oh no!
Yes,
this is a true story.
True story.
And we're not mentioning names.
We're not mentioning names, but it is a true story. It was in one of the most recent issues of Insurance Journal. It's a true story. So.
I'm just guessing you're the only one in the room that gets the Insurance Journal, but I may soon subscribe.
It is riveting reading.
Riveting
reading, yes.
Okay.
So this company, this assisted living firm, put out an ad for somebody to work the night shift. And it was going to be 3 12-hour shifts per week, 36 hours.
Okay.
So they hired this individual who happened to have a sleep disorder. And after they were hired, the company came back and said that every other week we're adding a fourth shift. And because of the employee's sleep disorder, they came back and said it would help me as an individual if we stick with the program that was agreed to, that, you know, what was posted on the job, what we agreed to, that we would stick with that. When that employee posted or requested that for the company, it wasn't too long later that employee was demoted and then ultimately terminated. So they filed suit.
The person with a sleep disorder filed suit.
Yeah, they were that the company had violated the American Disabilities Act. So they've been sued for back pay. They've been sued for compensatory damages. So that would be just the real actual damages. They've been sued for punitive damages so basically a punishment, as well as injunctive relief, which means that the business would have to change how they do business because of the situation. So the moral of the story is that we're seeing more and more employment practices claims, and we're seeing them because of the current economic situations. We're seeing them because of societal trends and how we work and how we relate to and think of the companies that we work with and for. And then we've got such an ever-evolving legal environment. With that said, it's important that companies, especially if you have a significant number of employees, that you consider employment practices liability coverage.
To cover your base, to lessen your risk.
Lessen your risk. So in the case of this assisted living facility, if they do have employment practices liability coverage, it could help with the defense costs. If they end up having damages, so if they do have to pay some of those damages, it would help cover with that. So those are some of the things that the EPLI coverage or employment practice liability insurance comes into play.
So many things come to mind with that story, but one of the first things that comes to mind, I'm thinking if it's not already out there, there's an enterprising group of attorneys that will now have billboards. If you have a sleep disorder, right? Huh?
Well, it is because, and again, as we've talked about a lot of times, people will file a claim or file a suit because they feel like they've been misrepresentative or misled, or they believe somebody has done them wrong. So it could be, in this case, they felt like they were wrongfully terminated. It could be they also could felt like they were discriminated against because they had this disorder. Workplace harassment. Did you breach the contract? I understood that we agreed to. Did you? And in case that could be a situation here as well, that she said, or I was hired to work 3 12-hour shifts, and now you want to add a fourth, every other week. So again, it was not what we had agreed to. Was it a negligent evaluation? So maybe you're docking somebody in their evaluation for poor performance when actually maybe the issue was with somebody else, and as the manager or the leader of the organization, you weren't aware of it. Failure to employ. Why didn't you hire me? You didn't hire me because of a certain reason. You didn't hire me because I'm an Aggie. That could be.
Those are grounds. They could be grounds in certain areas.
Yes. Wrongful discipline. Mismanagement of benefits, mismanagement of compensation. You messed up on my commission. So those are some of the things that we see, or some of the reasons that we see that folks will file, employment practices claims. So that's where having this EPLI coverage, this employment practice liability insurance, can come into play.
And as employees, all of us in life have so many things to think about to stay on the straight and narrow. But I'm thinking, and my empathy right now goes to the employer, whether it's a small company or a large company. I mean, the employer has, and take a, medium-sized company, 6,000 employees, whatever size you call that. I mean, they have so many things to think about already, yet these little nuances.
Well, there really are.
It's not easy.
No, it's not. And some of this comes into play is common sense, that you would want to make sure that you're treating everybody fairly. But again, the issue still remains is people are going to file a claim because they feel like something happened or they believe you've done something to them. So even if the claim is frivolous, you're still going to have defense costs. So if you want to offset those defense costs so that you're not having responsibility for all of them, then that's where this coverage would come into play.
That's where Stewart Insurance is right there to help to offset the risk.
It is. And in some cases, not all, but in some cases, if we're writing a business owner's plan for an individual, so that would be, a combination of their general liability insurance with their commercial property. In some cases, EPLI coverage is included. So that can be an added benefit. So again, being able to work with a variety of insurance partners to know what makes the most sense for our clients is important.
Well, and this doesn't, you brought up the Aggie, so I just mentioned this. I have a little dog named Elvis. He's 15 pounds, and he has a condition. My regular vet is a Texas A&M graduate, fantastic vet. He was closed one day, so I go to the next vet closest to my house. Every diploma on the wall, there were 4 doctors, all Texas. I mean, they're covering the vet world in a big way.
Oh, it's the best vet school in the world.
So we had to get a second opinion for Elvis, but unfortunately he still has the condition, even with the help of all these potential Aggies. Just saying.
Well, if anybody can help Elvis, they will.
Yes. So meanwhile, what else should we know?
Well, if you do have an interest in making sure that you've got some coverage in case there might be an employment issue, or if you're in a situation where you'd like to at least talk about what those opportunities are, we'd be happy to help you out. We've got a team of insurance advisors that can walk you through the process, talk about the pros and cons, and then look at maybe different ways that we could provide that coverage, as well as other business insurance, where it be errors and omissions or cyber liability, general liability, workers' compensation. We can work with real estate firms, brokers, realtors, independent title and attorney agents, property management firms on their business insurance.
And you do have a team of superstars. In fact, I had the opportunity to speak to, and I haven't spoken to her for many years, May Perez.
Yes.
She is so phenomenal. And you talk about empathy and talking about insurance and things. She's just Her knowledge is incredible, as is the whole team, Sigmund, Sonia, Andrea, and, of course, led by Tom Carpentier, leading the company in a magnificent way 24/7. Really a team of top-notch individuals.
We really are fortunate that we do have great insurance advisors, really solid service folks that really do take the time to work with our clients to make sure they are properly insured. But as you mentioned, there's nobody better than May.
There's no, and I go back to when I'm coming up on 11 years at Stewart Title, and I remember starting the day after Labor Day, being there right there on Post Oak, getting my new office. I got to meet May, I think, on the first day, and so she's there 11 years. I don't know how many years longer, but a lot of longevity as well with the associates at Stewart Insurance.
I mean, and especially on our leadership and the members of our leadership team, May, Will, Tom, they've all been with the company, almost as long as we've been in business. So yeah, it's nice to have that stability at the leadership level.
You know what we talked about, John? One of the side notes at that time at Stewart Residential was the title of the office that we were at. In the kiosk area where May was, Christmas, we used to decorate our various areas.
Yes.
May won and Stewart Insurance won 2 years in a row because of the fine work that they did.
Nobody likes holidays more than May. And nobody decorates for holidays better than May.
No doubt about it. John, let's tell people how they can reach you or reach the team at Stewart Insurance.
They can reach us at 866-798-2827. That's 866-798-2827. They can learn more about us at stewartinsurance.com, or they can email us at stewartinsurance@stewart.com.
And we mentioned Providence, Rhode Island earlier in the show. You're helping people in Providence and all of New England, too. What number should they call?
866-798-2827.
Thank you so much, John Bramlett.
Always a pleasure, Bill.
Our Stewart Title business development people are like none other, top-notch, A+++ team. And we have Hope Moy once again. For those listening, I think it's Hope. Are we up to every week now? We have a Hope Moy segment?
I mean, almost.
Almost.
I'm getting close.
No doubt about it.
I mean, I'm ready to book out 2025.
I know you're anxious, and we love that here on the show. And especially as the scheduler, I love planning, and I love people that want to plan. So let's tell people, again, your two offices are.
So my two offices are in Magnolia and Conroe. I have 3 fantastic escrow officers in Magnolia, and I have 2 fantastic escrow officers in Conroe.
So there you are. You want to bring your real estate transaction to either one of those offices. And if you're not in the area that Hope mentioned, well, we have, I don't know how many, what is our team up to now? About 16, 17 business development people?
Yeah, something like that.
So
we're growing.
All over the Houston area and also United States. So we're there to serve people with their real estate transactions at Stewart Title. We love that, right, Hope?
Absolutely. I tell people all the time, call me morning, night, weekend. I want to be a resource. I want to partner with you. I want to help you grow your business. I want to bring value to whatever your need is. So I want to be the liaison between the agent and the escrow officer.
One of the things you and our other team members have relationships with people, with realtors out in the field. You're helping the real estate professional, but also as today in the mortgage world.
Absolutely.
You brought Megan on the show.
Isn't she amazing?
Amazing.
And she wore red shoes.
She has red shoes.
For iHeart.
For iHeart Radio. That's correct. Well, Hope, what else should we know?
Please give me a call. Classes, events, flyers, marketing things that you may need for any type of folder that you're giving out to your customers. Please use me for a resource. I'm happy to help in any way that I can.
Hope Moy. In fact, you could see Hope on Facebook a lot, doing fun things, informative things. What's the phone number there, Hope?
My number is 346-224-1908. 346-224-1908.
Hope Moy. Thanks for being with us. And now, speaking of super business development people, once again, we're also hearing from Jana McGuire on a semi-regular basis. Jana, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
Doing pretty well.
Doing
Here
good.
you are. And you brought a fellow named Mark McGuire right here on the show.
Yes, I did.
Roofing. You're probably one of our only business development people that knows more about roofing than the other ones.
I do know quite a bit about roofing.
How many shingles come in a pack? No, just kidding. But anyway.
It's called a bundle.
It's called, well, there we go. See, like Mark's saying, I'm proud of her. That's my wife. She knows the shingle world. So let's tell people your office that you serve at Stewart Title is
Clear Lake office, and that's on Space Center Boulevard. It's over by NASA. So if you are ever in the area, come swing by and tell us hi.
No doubt about it. And each one of our offices, Jana, is incredible, really. Yours right there, the diversity of economic drivers. When we think of Clear Lake, yes, NASA, we think of waterfront properties and industries and even the tourist business in your area is something to speak of.
We have a lot of tourists that come through. We also have Kima, which is another popular one. And that it's next door to Clear Lake. So
many
we get
great
all
things.
kinds of people coming through.
And just like all of our team, you're helping the real estate professionals out there
Correct.
develop their business, thus business development experts.
Yeah, I've been trying to set up some one-on-ones. Stewart Title has an awesome farming tool for realtors, so I'm willing to teach them, have a one-on-one with them so they can grow their business.
Jana, let's tell people how they can reach you if they're in the Clear Lake area and they want to bring their real estate transaction to you right there.
It's 832-244-3439, 832-244-3439.
Jana McGuire. Thank you so much, Jana. And now Megan Davis is making her way back right here. Here you are. So here we are. Final word, Megan. Let's tell people again, your company, you're helping people with loans all the time in a tremendous way.
Right. D4 Mortgage. You can reach me at 281-639-2988. And I forgot to mention I'm also licensed in Louisiana.
How about that? Great food, too.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Louisiana. So you have 2 licenses.
Right. Yeah. I used to live in Denham Springs near Baton Rouge, so I have a lot of clients over there as well. And that's a very tough market. I'm happy to help in either state.
Sounds good to me. Let's tell people, Megan, the phone number is
281-639-2988.
And the Louisiana number is?
The same number.
That's a trick question. And that again is
281-639-2988.
Thank you so much, Megan Davis. Once again, AO1 Roofing. Mark McGuire. Mark, a final word.
There are a lot of roofers in Houston you can choose from.
Just like there's a lot of realtors, too.
That's
though,
right.
you know?
We say we give service that's fit for a king. So if you want to reach us, we're 713-715-ROOF. 713-715-ROOF.
Up on the Roof. You know, years ago, before a lot of people's time, there was a song called Up on the Roof by the Drifters. And
we talked about this earlier.
And you need to Google that when you leave.
I have not Googled it, but I was thinking Up on the Rooftop from a Christmas version. I love Christmas.
That's also,
right?
Mark, once again, the phone number if they need a roofing repair, if they need an estimate on a brand new roof where you're breaking open those shingles right out of the bundle. Man, nothing nicer than the sound of breaking open a new shingle bundle, is there?
There's not, but let's not forget we also handle office buildings and commercial and retail also.
I forgot.
I did too. So we're both at fault. That's my fault. So, you just had me steering down this residential rabbit hole.
Hey man, when we fly over in our planes, we're seeing roofs of all sorts, and they can call you at
713-715-ROOF.
Mark McGuire. Thank you so much, Mark. Good to see you. And also now, Juan Granados. Let's tell people what else you want them to know about what you're doing as you're helping buyers and sellers in a magnificent way.
Well, just want them to know that we are here to make sure that they get the house that they love. Again, we are helpers of making people's dream come true. And not only for local people, but also investors that want to purchase their second or the third home.
What's your phone number?
832-312-1884.
Again?
832-312-1884.
Thank you so much, Juan Granados, and thank you all for listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I am your host, Bill Knapik, together with John Bramlett, all of us at Stewart Title and Stewart Insurance. We're here to help you with your insurance needs and title insurance needs. That's right, all over Houston and even beyond, as we're an international company traded on the New York Stock Exchange as STC. Stewart.com/radio is where you can go to see and hear this show. That's right, Stewart.com/radio. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next week.